You know, the right wing likes to claim they're constitutional and they just want you to follow the Constitution. Their Second Amendment rights, they want to read it to the letter of the law. Here's what Daniel Ledo says. The cold civil war ramps up with Marxist states like Colorado trying to keep Trump off the ballot. Wonder what will happen if they keep effing around. Now, I thought you believe in your guns and all of that to protect the Constitution. And I also thought that in protecting the Constitution, you also believed in state rights. Those are the things you guys preach. The Constitution specifically says if somebody was a part of an insurrection or anything of that sort, are there many of those insurrectionists that were convicted under the insurrection clause? Yes. We have several convicted insurrectionists who were in contact with Donald Trump. The Constitution didn't say he needed to be convicted of insurrection, which he should be, but he was palling around with the insurrectionists. He was giving directions to the insurrectionists. I will march down there with you, is what he said. So therefore, these judges followed the law, the rule of the Constitution, and Ledo now doesn't want to follow it. Let's hear what Marc Elias has to say about that, and then we'll take it on the other side, because Marc is clear that, it's constitutional. Let's listen to him now, because, folks, it is, in fact, constitutional.
All right, what do you think about this ruling?
Look, I think the Supreme Court of Colorado got it right. And what's really struck me in so much of the commentary in the last, 24 hours or 12 hours or so, is how many people recognize that fundamentally the court got it right, that Donald Trump incited an insurrection, a violent mob to sack the Capitol to prevent the certification of the election for president of the United States, that he was a former officer of the United States, he was a former president, he took an oath, and that therefore, under its plain meaning, he is disqualified under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And what's curious to me is that people, rather than stopping there, they then start offering a bunch of excuses, but this would be an extraordinary holding, but this would disrupt the elections. Look, the rules are the rules. The Constitution says what it is. And for a country that has come to accept what are pretty outrageous rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court around, for example, the absolute epidemic of gun violence in the United States, because they insist on a plain and absurd outcome reading of the Constitution, for people to then say that in this case it's a bridge too far, I think is really dangerous for democracy. This guide rail exists for a reason, and it needs to be followed.
What does this all mean, though, from a timeline perspective?
Look, I think this case is going to move very, very fast.
Okay. Define very, very fast in legal terms.
Great question, because what's fast for lawyers is not fast for the country. So Donald Trump's legal team has until the beginning of January to ask the Supreme Court to review this case. They'll obviously meet that deadline. Supreme Court will take the case up. I expect there will be very fast briefing in the month of January with an oral argument probably by the end of January and a decision sometime in February.
I love what Marc Elias says. You just because it doesn't fit your profile, you now don't want to follow the Constitution. Now, here's the deal. Donald Trump has never, ever received the majority of the votes in this country. Yet, we had to follow the rules of the Constitution, that because he won more votes in the Electoral College because of the undemocratic nature of the Electoral College, we let him have his presidency, because according to the rules of the Constitution, even though most Americans did not want Donald Trump as their president, neither in 2016, where he lost by 3 million votes, or in 2020, where he lost by 7 million plus votes. He was never wanted by most of the Americans. Yet, because of the Constitution, he held the job. Now, He created an insurrection after he lost. The Constitution says you cannot be president again or any elected office if you do that. We're just following the Constitution, something that the right loves to hang on to. And when it affects them, we don't know if we want it so much. So Ledo, be consistent and stop threatening the revolution that you're implying, a violent revolution that you're implying. The truth of the matter is the military will be ready in the event that a whole bunch of numbskulls come with their militias and try to do something. They'll be put down rather quickly, because the support that many of you think you have, you don't.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.